Hello, I'm a woman in my mid-50s. I was raised in an ordinary family in a small town. My dad was a salaryman and my mom was a staying-home mother. Even though we were not from a wealthy family, we grew up in an environment where we didn't have to face hardships. I preferred to hang out with my friends rather than study. Hutchins, on the other hand, my brother was a good student, so he went to a private language high school in Boston. Hutch and I went to a high school assigned closer to home, and my parents were proud of my brother, but they never compared me to him. My mom always told me that each person has his or her specialties. For Hank, it's studying, and for me, it's social and people skills. She always found good things in us, and my dad too. Even when my mom went to Boston to support my brother, I never felt left alone because my dad treated me so well, and my mom called me all the time to check up on me. I got into a local community college. I didn't have any particular field I wanted to study, so I applied based on my grades, but it felt good to get in. My parents and my brother congratulated me. When I got to college, I was looking for something to do for fun, and I joined a golf club. Even though I'm pretty active, I don't like to run and sweat. So I thought golf would be like walking and hitting a ball, and I could meet people too. Golf itself wasn't easy, and walking around the fields wasn't easy after all, but I loved it because I got to meet people of diverse backgrounds. Some kids came from wealthy families and joined a golf club at my community college because it was the college they could get into with their grades. And a few kids knew a lot about real estate in the metropolitan area because their parents worked in that field. But their stories were fun, so I hung out with them a lot. My family didn't have money to invest, but I couldn't get enough of that information. My curiosity grew. I bought and read books on real estate and went to see real estate agents just for a talk. I eventually got to know some of the agents, and they were very nice to me because they thought it was interesting and cute that such a young college student was interested in real estate. While I was spending my college years like such, my brother was accepted to a prestigious law school in New York City as a scholarship student. And naturally, my parents had high expectations for him. I was also proud of my brother. Even though he was such a smart boy, he did not look down on me for it, nor did he brag about it. Rather, he acted more maturely and cared about me much. I would take her. I thought about going to New York to be a big sister to him. However, I didn't know if I could get a job there. I wasn't sure if I could get a job in the city with my educational background, but you never know, right? I decided to look for a job, and most of my friends knew I was searching in the city. One of them from the golf club called me and said, "Hey, I heard you're looking for a job in the city. Text, why don't you submit your CV to my dad's company? Text, he runs a real estate development." Linked to company. Text, I heard you're interested in that area and you've studied too. Text, you'll do great. But with his encouragement, I applied for his father's company and another real estate company. When I looked them up, there were a couple of small to medium-sized real estate companies. Both companies I applied to called me in for interviews, and I got into both of them. Actually, both of them were skeptical about my college. but I confidently told them I could do better than those who went to better universities. I think that probably impressed the two companies. I decided to join my friend's father's company. It wasn't because of the friend, but I compared both companies, and his company was much better in employee benefits and company assets. My friend also seemed happy I was going to his father's company. But when I moved to New York, my mom was relieved and helped my brother and me move into the same house. Then she went back home. The work was fun. I particularly liked going to the field with my seniors. I loved meeting, talking, and negotiating with people, so the job itself felt like my vocation. I was so caught up with work, and 2 years quickly passed. Just around that time, I was introduced to a guy who was an investor. He went to the same university as my brother, but with a different major. I felt a connection to him just because he went to the same university as my brother. He said he liked that I was outgoing and confident, and I liked that he was assertive and intelligent. He told me that his parents saved quite a lot of money from investing in real estate. I don't know if it was because he was raised in a wealthy family, but he had high-end tastes, and I found that attractive too. Now I look back, and I think I was a little immature. Dissertations of Kramans of Tumerks as Ohio's in my early 20s, and I was just starting to make money, so I guess those things seemed nice to me. We dated for about a year and a half and got married. His mother was just like a lady from a wealthy family. She was covered in luxury brands from head to toe and also seemed smart. She told me outright that she liked me working at a real estate company. Jason could have found a better bride. You also agree with that, right? But since you work at Douglas Elliman, I like that. We know the company is solid and has a good reputation in the industry. So we can get what we want from you, and you like my company too. And you like my son too, so it would be a win-win. It sounded somewhat calculated, but how she said it and her attitude were so sophisticated. I tried to look at their good sides, as they would become my in-laws. They didn't show any disrespectful attitudes toward my family either. But after I got married, I realized that my mother-in-law was very keen on the educational background. I heard your brother went to a prestigious university and passed the bar. Why did you go to a community college then? Did you sacrifice for your brother as your family couldn't afford it? If not, it must have been that you weren't studying when you were in school. I don't think you're dumb. Yes, that's exactly what she said in front of all her relatives. At first, a few times, I tried not to take it so personally. But when her friends also made comments about my background, I started to feel offended. Bailey, it's true that Jason went to a better university, but I need you to stop talking about it in front of others. It's not like I committed a crime or something. It's not a bad college. And even though I went there, I got a good job, building my career. It started to hurt me as you repeated it so many times.
Why are you so sensitive?
It's not like I lied. I'm just saying you married well. It didn't mean anything else. It's true that you're lucky to marry my son with your background. Am I wrong? That's all inferiority complex and self-accusation. You gotta let that go. Bailey, I never had those. I never felt bad about going to a college not as prestigious as my brother's. You're the one who's been saying bad things about my school. I'm talking about that fact. That's an inferiority complex. You don't think you are, but in your subconscious, you feel inferior. That's why you're so offended. My mother-in-law thought I would take university rankings seriously as it was so important to her. It was so frustrating not being able to talk to her, but I had no choice but to let it go. For a little less than a year into our marriage, I got pregnant and they had a baby after 10 months. Then my parents and family were happy as he was my first baby. My husband's family also loved him, but they emphasized the fact that it was a boy. They say sons and daughters are the same nowadays, but a boy's better. Still, I thought you were nothing without your brother and your company, but you got lucky after you married my son. She just had to say those words when she could just congratulate me. But it was obvious if I made a comment about it, she would repeat that I have an inferiority complex. So I didn't say a thing. The more I talked to my mother-in-law, the more frustrated I became. Then when I came home from postpartum care, she said something weird. You know, it's really hard to have a baby and work. First, we'll take care of Marcus, so take care of yourself. That way, you will feel better when you return to work after your maternity leave. Thank you, but I'm okay, and I heard it's not easy to get back to work after maternity leave. It's not like I can go back to work right away. I can take care of Marcus myself. Then let's do this. I know you're his mother, but let us take care of his education. That would be better for all of us, you know? At first, I didn't know what she was talking about. He's a boy, and he needs to be raised smart to be a leader. But do you think you can handle that as you went to a community college? It's if he's going to grow up with no shade in his heart, he needs to grow up among people who went to prestigious universities. He's my grandchild. I can't give this up. I was stunned, upset, and couldn't think straight. I just cried for the whole day.
If my mom says she's gonna take care of him, it's easy and good for us, don't you think?
Just think of it as a good thing. To be honest, my mom studied a lot and is smart, so Marcus would be in good hands. Are you also saying that because I went to a community college, then why didn't you marry someone smart instead of me? What is this?
He's my son.
Why does your mother need to raise him? Other people wish their mothers-in-law would take care of the children. I don't understand why you're so fussed about it. It's not the same. She wants to take care of Marcus because she doesn't trust you. How can she disrespect a person so much because of educational background? It would have been nice if you studied hard and got into a good one then. His words put me in despair. I regretted marrying him. Being the right person is more important than being smart and intelligent, but I realized that too late. I knew my parents would be shocked if I told them what happened, so I had to bear it myself. Marcus stayed at the in-laws for 5 days a week while I was rotting inside. I hadn't thought about divorce at the time, so all I could think about was how to fix this. Then it was Thanksgiving. She called me to her house to make food. I rushed to her house as I was excited to see my son one more day after seeing him only 2 days a week. By spatunet mali ECZs, I was making all the food by myself, but I never felt tired as all my attention was on my son. My mother-in-law didn't hold him much and kept reading alphabet toys in front of Marcus. I couldn't understand why she was in such a hurry as Marcus was just born. Then my mother-in-law left for a few minutes and Marcus was sitting alone, unprotected on the couch. He looked so vulnerable, so I quickly grabbed him, had him right on my back, and went back to the kitchen. I continued to make stuffing and put them in turkeys. But then someone grabbed my hair and pulled me back. You who told you you could carry my grandchild that way. Do you know how much it would bend his legs? I knew it. You went to that kind of college. Put him down now. The mother-in-law yelled and Marcus started to cry in shock. Is crying because you yelled, and you're the one who put him on the couch without protection. It looked dangerous, and that's why I had him on my back. Why are you mentioning my college there? How come you don't know you're not supposed to leave him by himself like that if you studied that much? Hey, how dare you yell at me, you ignorant fool! Who do you think you are saying those things? I'm his mother. Marcus is my son. I was so angry that I took off my rubber gloves, picked him up, and walked out of the in-laws' house. My husband was furious at me for talking back to his mother, and I lost all my affection for him. Apologize to my mom now, or I will not forgive you. What did I do wrong to apologize to her? I won't take it anymore. Get out of this house right now. I can't live with a woman who's so ignorant and nonsense like you. What part of my words were nonsense? You're the ones who are absurd. Are you serious? Are you saying it's okay to yell at your mother-in-law and ditch what you were supposed to do? You don't even know about basic manners. I should have listened to my mom when she told me to think twice about marrying you. I am the one who should have stopped when your mother saw me as a way to get what she wants, as if I was a tool or something. I came to my parents' house after yelling back at him. When my parents heard what happened, they lost words. After a day when I had some time to calm down a bit, my mom said, "They will never change. I think it would be better for you to break up with him rather than live with that nonsense. You're the most important being. If you and Marcus are happy, that's all we need." I'm sorry, Mom. And thank you. My mom and I held each other and cried our eyes out. My brother was a prosecutor in a small town in Ohio, so we couldn't see each other. However, when he heard about the incident, he was just as upset as I was, and he was on my side. When I got divorced, my in-laws tried hard to take my son away from me, but I was able to win custody because the cause of the divorce wasn't on me. I looked for a job to work again to earn money to raise my son. Then my friend reached out to me. The department you were in might not let you come back. We're not the only company that doesn't welcome women who are married and have kids. I guess that's just the way it is. So instead of going back to the sales, I'd like you to be my personal assistant. I've been traveling a lot recently with lots to take care of, so I kind of need someone who can help me. He was now the managing director of the company. It seemed like he got promoted very quickly because his dad owns the company and the father was going to pass it on to my friend. So after a year and a half of maternity leave, I went back to the company as my friend's secretary. He trusted my eye and instincts for real estate investments and always consulted projects with me. I worked harder to repay his trust in me, studying to make more accurate analyses for better predictions. That's with my hard work, the investments I recommended made good results. My friend publicly praised my work at the company and made sure I was recognized for them. And with his references, I was selected as a team leader for a special task force that was created to find new development districts. The people at the company also agreed that I would do great with the job. I worked day and night on the project. My parents took care of Marcus. Not long after, I found a pretty good area and built our company's building there. We also sold the suites for a good price. As it was a transportation hub, it gained people's attention and interest quickly. And with this success, I was promoted to head of the sales strategy department. It took me 10 years to get to that position. And one day, I went to look at a site that was on the market for sale. The location wasn't bad. The building was good. I asked a real estate agent, as I was curious, why it was set at such a low price. The owner of this place got scammed and lost all her money. She should have not been so greedy. She fell for a scam that she could buy a centrally located place in New York City for a low price. There's no such thing as low-priced land in UIC, you know. The tree, even though it was underdeveloped, she had been working in this market for a long time, but she lost her judgment. It only takes a moment. I came back to the company and did some more analysis on the land and decided to purchase it. Although the price went up quite a bit as it was already developed, the price the owner wanted wasn't so bad either. So before I made the final decision, I wanted to meet with the owner to see if she was really going to sell it for the price. But when I called the agent to arrange a meeting, she said the owner raised the price as she thought we would buy it anyway. However, the new price was a little high, and I didn't think it was going to be a good deal for us. So I told the agent that I would withdraw my offer. A few days later, I got a call from the owner of the property, who came to my office while I was out. My secretary said the owner wanted to meet and talk with me as I was the leader of the department. I agreed to meet them at the office after I finished all my errands. When I walked into the office, I was shocked to see the owner of the property. It was my former mother-in-law. The tree, the name on the property document wasn't hers. It turned out she had borrowed her sister's name for the property.
I heard you're the leader of this team, so I insisted that I have to meet you.
If I had known you started to work again, I would have called you. I'm so glad we met again like this. If I had known you were the owner of the property, I would not have met you. And I don't do business with borrowed names. It always causes problems.
That's not necessarily true. I've done a lot of work in this field, and I know what I'm doing.
Don't be like that.
Why don't you reconsider our land? I'm willing to lower the price a little bit.
Well, my company doesn't do business with such properties. And what are you trying to say?
I know you have no choice if you can't sell the property to my company.
I know that's why you're here to beg. Oh, you know what you're doing? What do you think I'm doing here? I'm not the person you used to know. Get out of my office. Then my ex-mother-in-law nearly begged me. Please, I beg you, help us, UJ. No, Miss Petal, please reconsider your decision. If you don't get out now, I'll call the security. Only now will I give you a chance. Then she inevitably left the office. But she came back the next day, and on the third day, she brought my ex-husband with her. I didn't know we would meet like this. I'm glad to see you doing well. As you would already know, we're in a bit of a bad situation. I really wish your company would buy our property. Excuse me, what makes you think we will even listen to your offer? It's the property under a borrowed name, and I'm not interested in your offers. Why should we buy your property? And I know you raised the price when you found out we were going to buy the land. Why would we do business with such people? I said coldly. Are you sure those are the real problems here? Can you say for sure that this isn't about our breakup? You're not supposed to mix your personal feelings with the business. Who are you trying to teach? I'm the head of the sales strategy team. You're the one trying to sell me the property based on personal feelings. I mean, you're all smart people with great university degrees. Why did you get scammed? Did the con artist graduate from Ivy Leagues? And did you think I would buy the property if you just talked to me because I went to a community college? People call people like you buck smarts. Stop your bullshit and get out of my office at once. When I yelled at them, my ex-husband sounded more intimidated. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that. I just wanted to say that we need to separate our personal feelings from professional matters. Again, you're the one who cannot separate those two right now. You're talking to Mimi as if I'm your friend or something. Lady, stop here. Take your son and leave. If you keep it up, I'll report your property for using borrowed names. My brother is a prosecutor. Do you get it then? Finally, they left intimidated. They've tried to contact me a few times since then, but I have never let them. I didn't buy the property either. It turned out that the woman he married cheated on him with someone else and conned him on purpose. People say you reap what you sow. After all those brags about their intelligence and smartness, it turned out they're the dumbest things. After that, I haven't heard anything about that family. I remarried a good man, and the son he brought and my son are now brothers, and they get along well. Both are in universities now. My parents are also doing well. Oh, and my brother also got married, and he's having the happiest days. When I see my ex-in-laws, people do reap what they sow. So I'm trying to sow the good seeds for our happy days ahead. Thank you for listening to my long story. I wish you all the best and good health. Please leave your words of support and wise advice in the comment section. The likes and subscriptions help me a lot. Have a wonderful day, everyone.